Welcome back to the KEMPIRE Daily YouTube channel, where we talk about some of the hottest topics in music, entertainment, and even reality TV. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live or when we upload. In today's video, I want to talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yes, we already did our recap, but more news is coming out. Jennifer Aydin, as you know, was probably the biggest mess that we saw on the last episode, where she got drunk at Teresa's pool party and had to be carried out by the men. Well, you may also recall that she was on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live. And people think that he was a little condescending to her. Well, according to a tweet that Real Smoke 24 sent to Jennifer Aydin saying, "My DVR also recorded Watch What Happens Live with Jennifer Aydin, and I'm not mad, even if Andy is still condescending AF, hashtag RHONJ. Well, guess what? Jennifer Aydin decided to reply to that comment saying this: "I guess he has his favorites, and it's definitely not me, obviously." Everyone has accused Andy Cohen of having favorites. You may recall back when Carol Radziwill was on The Real Housewives of New York during the reunion, she pretty much accused Andy of being scared of Bethany Frankel. Have I believed those people have accused Andy multiple times of having favorites, and some of those favorites were at his baby shower. Do I think he has his favorites? I think naturally we have people we just connect with better. I believe that. Does he have his favorites in regards to production, in regards to narratives and things like that? I don't think it's just him that has favorites. I think the other executive producers that are involved in these shows have favorites. I think it's just human to have favorites. Not that I'm here to defend Andy Cohen, but it's clear that there are biases on the show. We saw it with the Real Housewives of Potomac and the narrative that they were painting for different housewives, and how it seemed as if they were protecting different housewives. We already know how business works. If someone is making money for you on a show and they're your biggest character, they're going to look out for that character if they feel like they're reading these comments, y'all. Everything that we say on YouTube, things that we say on social media, these executive producers are reading them. So they are like, oh, people like this. Oh, we're going to keep presenting this person in this light. Like Teresa, you think that they waited to produce, I forgot what season it was, until she was available? Come on. She's definitely one of not just Andy's favorites, but definitely of the producers and probably the editors' favorites. But this is probably one of the rare times that we hear a housewife say this. And that's part of the reason why I kind of like Jennifer Aydin for New Jersey, is because she is outspoken. She doesn't need that little check. You've seen her house. You see what her husband makes. She doesn't need that little check. If anything, Jennifer just wants to be on TV. She just wants fame, like a lot of these people that have money and don't need to be on TV. But I thought it was really interesting that she would even reply that way, knowing that, of course, someone like ourselves would talk about it. I didn't watch the episode with Jennifer and Andy on Watch What Happens Live, but it wasn't shocking to me that people thought the way that he was speaking to her or some of his guests as being condescending. I think people read too much into things sometimes. It's not surprising to me that people think that how Andy presents himself or how he speaks to some of the ladies is condescending. I've had that feeling about him sometimes, but you know what? Look, people might feel that way when I interview someone. So I can't sit here and be too judgmental of Andy, even though I want to be. I do want to be critical. But when you do this, when you are interviewing people, when you are presenting to the public, people are going to have their views. And that's a great thing. But at the same time, I understand that it's probably not exactly how he feels. It's just your viewpoint of it. And look, let's be honest. Andy's always been a shady mother father. So it's not surprising to me that Jennifer would feel this way, or any of the housewives would feel this way. But what I would love to hear is the behind the scenes, because it's interesting how Carol said that about Bethany. It's clear there's a relationship, there's a personal relationship between Andy and some of these housewives, like a Bethany. They do hang out. They do hang out in the Hamptons. Me personally, especially coming from the corporate background that I have, I always would separate those lives. I would never hang out with people that I worked with because I see how complicated it can get. And Andy doesn't do that, but I get it because it's entertainment. It's all about being social. It's all about networking. So it's very incestuous when it comes to the entertainment business. And that's a lot of the ways that a lot of these people have made it to the positions that they've made it to. That's part of how Andy has executive produced his own late night talk show. It's because of the relationships that he has with other people, and also because of what he's brought to the table with the shows. So it's just one of the ways that people make it in the entertainment business. And I'm sure that's also been one of the ways that Bethany's narrative has been controlled the way that it has because of the relationships that she has, not just with Andy Cohen, but with production. A lot of people think because Andy Cohen really is the face of Bravo, that he is the only one making those decisions. There are a lot of executive producers involved in making these decisions, and a lot of executive producers that have their favorites. Some of Andy's favorites are my favorites too, but I'm of the mind of, no, we're producing a show. This is a job. So I'm not going to be blatant and show my favoritism, even though I don't think he's always blatant with how he shows his favoritism. Also, some of his questions aren't his questions. Some of those questions that you're seeing that he's asking are from his producers, his production staff. And he takes the blame for it. And I think at this point in Andy's career, he understands people are not going to like some of the things that he says and does based on what producers have fed to him to ask. They're trying to make good TV, y'all. I can't believe this video. I'm defending Andy Cohen, but I'm also defending Jennifer Aydin and confirming Andy does have his favorites. But I want to hear from you guys as always. Let me know in the comments. Do you believe that Andy has his favorites? And if you do, who are they? Let's make a list. Who are the favorites? I'll start. Bethany, Teresa. Nene used to be until she called him racist. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out when we go live or when we upload.